Save our Earth.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karin Stein. I am Iowa coordinator for Moms Clean Air Force and also for its program directed specifically at Latinas and Latinos called EcoMadres. And it is my privilege to invite to this conversation today Carolina Pena, who is involved in this effort of protecting our children and our vulnerable community members from air pollution and the effects of the climate crisis. So welcome, Carolina. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself personally and professionally.
Thank you, Karen, for this space. I just want to start that I am Bolivian. I have been living here in the United States since 2001. And I'm leading the EcoMadres program, which is a program of the Moms Clean Air Force. As some of our members know, it's a community of 1 million parents and caregivers that are acting together for equitable solutions to protect the health of children. So our program, EcoMadres, focuses with the Latino families. And we are working in 7 states. And because I live in Alexandria, Virginia, I also serve the Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. So I just want to share that because I am a Latina, and I have seen that the Latinos has more times likely to be affected by air pollution because of where we live and where we work. This is an issue that is affecting our health, and especially in the pollution, because we're getting a lot of statistics that the Latinos has a higher percentage of asthma attacks. And unfortunately, because some of our community doesn't know the English, the information is very limited in Spanish, which making them hard to make the connection that the pollution affects their health. And unfortunately, that lack of connection, sometimes they think, okay, this is a place that I am in. I don't have anything to do. I have to live with these conditions and be it. But that's not just. This is not something that they have to bear. And that's why I am very excited to be leading our initiative and working with you and the other organizers and Moms Clean Air Force to be able to serve as the bridge of providing the information that is science-based, easy to understand, so that people can take action, and especially that they can give these problems that they have in their community to their elected officials, not necessarily the locals, but also the federal. So that's what I am very excited that we're able to educate them of how they can talk to their elected official, because they have the rights to be able to articulate their personal stories that are affecting their health to their elected officials, so they can make changes in the policies, and they can create incentive or some investment to improve the conditions of the people.
Do you think being a woman influences your how you view the world, how you engage with your community, your concern for the environment? Do you think that plays a role at all?
Yes, let me take a little bit of step back on that. I just want to tell you how fortunate I was back when I was able to live in St. Lucia, an island in the Caribbean. Back in 2010, I was able to live there. And that year, 7 months after I arrived, a hurricane, Thomas, hit the island. So I personally been affected by climate change, and I saw the vulnerable communities were affected. And that particular issue gave me the change of my personal, but also professional view about what is happening in our environment. And from that time, I work on many programs on that. In some of the training that we conducted to assist not just the utilities, but also teachers. And I just want to share with you an experience that we facilitated a competition between the participants, and the one that win, because it was the challenge to design a wind turbine, the group that win, it was women. So we can see that women have leadership, because as part of the challenge, they have to communicate with the members on how to design that turbine. So we saw and for me, it was kind of like, wow, that's great. Like, because sometimes we undervalue and we don't get that acknowledgement of the capacity and the skill set that women have. And for that, I was able to see that women has a big capacity to find solution, and especially the greatest challenge that we face today. And they have to be heard. They have to be valued throughout society. And one of the things that also captured my attention when I read that in the Paris Climate Agreement that was happening in 2015, among the women that were part of the negotiation include Cristina Figueres. She was the one who guided the principle of net zero emission. So that bravery challenge to change the status quo, to protect the quality of life through the environment, it was make it even bigger, that agreement. So that's what, once again, I cannot emphasize my gratefulness, and also to be proud of serve as the EcoMadres team in Moms Clean Air Force. So we can empower our women and position them in the rightful leaders of this movement that we needed to solve.
So those are really, really important insights, Carolina. What worries you the most as you think about the youngest generation, and what can we do to protect that young generation, their safety, their health, to the best of our abilities? What can we do at the national and at the local level?
Okay, God, you make me reflect very profound, to be honest. This is a concern that keeps us, a lot of us, with no sleep at night. So let me start by saying that my biggest environmental concern is the human health, like our health, because due to the heat waves and the drought, and even the spread of the infectious diseases is something that is of concern, especially because with the changes that are happening with the global temperature, and are disproportionately affected the tropics, and is causing a lot of people because of the extreme heat, and especially here in not here, but as we know, Latinos really enjoy being in the outdoors, in the parks, even in the outside. Because of these extreme temperatures, people are getting affected. We have here multiple testimonies of our own colleagues that their children can no longer be outside, because some of them already have problems with their respiratory disease. They cannot go out. So that's terrified me, because the conditions of what we have lived when we were children, unfortunately, some of the children, and even worse, the future generations, are going to be suffering their health. And also not just the health, but also their access to food, because of these extreme temperatures. There is a decline in the agricultural yield and the production. So we're going to have a very limited access to quality of food. So that's something that is very concerning, and a lot of the scientific community already expressed that. We have read a couple of weeks ago the latest report of the IPCC, which is the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, a group of scientists that expressed that concern. And there is a lot of millions, or about millions of people that are going to be displaced as well. So there is a lot of impacts, and we needed to take action that it could help to minimize that impacts that we're foreseen already in some areas in the world. So that's what when you ask me what I am doing on that, and honestly, some people like me, probably in the past, in the last probably 10 years, sometimes I feel hopeless. And that hopeless sometimes is cause a negative effect because that allow you to prevent you to act. So that's what it is really important, that don't lose the optimism that as a community, and especially our community of EcoMadres, we try to project that to our members, to educate them, to tell them like, okay, there is an issue between pollution and the conditions that you have in your health. So we can bring up information and getting awareness that the condition that they're living, they could change. And that condition about that they can extend that to their elected officials, either like locally or federal. So that's what I am very proud that we're able to participate in hearings that the Environmental Protection Agency has launched in this couple of weeks about the ozone contamination, the electric buses. That's something that is really of importance for our communities, that the kids are able to be transported in buses that are clean. So we just needed to be educated. And that's what I am so excited that EcoMadres provide that platform for our community in Spanish and in English, because it's important to receive in the language that you understand the topic, and that you can understand what actions you can take from your own to make a change, not just in yourself, but also in your community. And as you know, EcoMadres is in 7 states and in the US. So you, for example, that you are in Iowa, but I am like, for example, in Virginia, but I am close to Maryland and to Washington, D.C. So we are like in person, but also the beauty of the online platform, we're able to also have an outreach with a bigger
Right.
space. Yeah.
Right. And it's important to add that everybody's voices are important. It doesn't, the whether you're a citizen of the United States or not is irrelevant to the question of your children's right to good air and to good health. So we're here for everybody. We listen to everybody and we carry everyone's concerns. Any last thoughts, Carolina, to send us off with?
Any last thought is saying education, starting to be educating yourself. That's a very great start point to understand. And once you understand, then you're going to be able, there's always a role for everybody. I was very fortunate also to be trained by Vice President Al Gore as part of the Climate Reality project. And I met little kids from 6 years old that they can make a change. Everybody can do an act. And once you understand that, that challenge, and as I said, like EcoMadres is a one-stop shop, let's gonna put that, for learning about what the topic is, and we can learn with each other, because sometimes not everything we know in our community, so we learn also from the community. So the EcoMadres is for the community, with the community, so we can tackle this challenge that we have. And as you mentioned, the informative resources that we have available are bilingual in Spanish and English. And we try to make it as user-friendly so our community can understand, so they can act. So don't feel so don't feel overwhelmed. It is overwhelming even for myself, that I have been working on these issues for several years, also with my colleagues. But the message that I want to leave is to leave it with a message of optimism, that together we can find ways of make it less impacted to the most vulnerable. And again, I don't want to stress out that we needed to stress that worriness that we have about our health to our elected officials, because they can make changes in their policies and investment toward a better infrastructure to improve the health and the climate that we have.
Absolutely. And along the way, doing it together means everyone, because at EcoMadres and Mom's Clean Air Force, central central to our mission is to make sure that our outreach is equitable and that it focuses on environmental justice, and that means everyone is included. Thank you so much for being with us, Carolina, and until next time.
Thank you.
I want clean air and water. Save our climate, save our Earth.